Hello and welcome to Education and More series, Learn Python 3 Programming at a Snail's Pace. My name is Marcus Gardner and I'll be the instructor for this course. In today's video, this is Lesson 1, Numbers and Printing. So we're going to start off with just easy math. Alright, so let's just get to it. Addition and subtraction. So, how do we do this? Well, the first thing you need to do is bring up your Notepad++, or if you chose something else, you'll need to bring that up. What you'll do is you hit this File button here and click New, and you'll get a new icon. Okay, I already had one set up, and looks like I still have my UNO from before. UNO is one of the games I will teach you how to write. Isn't that going to be fun? I love UNO. All right. So anyway, well, the first thing we want to do is save it. Okay, so we're going to click File, Save As, and I'm going to put this into E. So I am going to go down here and go to E, and again, put it anywhere you want, anywhere on your computer that you have access to. That would be a nice directory for your programming lessons. Okay, so I'm going to put it under Programming and Python. Let's just assume I didn't have it. We'll do it right here. We'll just call it Python 3. So I have this little button here, which is called Create New Folder. Again, I'm using Windows. If you're using something else, well, you'll have to learn how to write your own or create your own directories. Okay, so I'm going to put everything underneath Python 3. Okay, and then I double click it. Now I'm inside of Python 3. Okay, now let's just call this numbers, or lesson 1. How about that? Lesson 1. But don't hit save yet. We don't want a normal text file. You're going to click here and hit the P button. It makes it a little bit easier to find because there's a whole bunch there for you to look at. Okay. All right. So we're going to go down about 5, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, 6. Yes, 6. Python file. Hit enter. And it will automatically change it to a .py. Okay. I don't want to, okay, make sure it says lesson 1. Yes, okay, lesson1.py. Again, you call it anything you want, preferably something descriptive. Don't call it A. All right, so let's hit save. Okay, now as we're coding, typing, anytime we start typing something, we can just hit this little save icon. We don't have to click save as anymore. I'm not going to save it for us. Okay, just like your normal WordPerfect file. Okay, or Microsoft Word or whatever it is you use. Okay, all right. Now, the first thing we're going to learn is how to display something to the user, and that is the print statement. Okay, so we have print. And notice how it's already started to type it. So that way you know what word it is and how to use it. Okay. So print and it turns purple or blue or whatever that color is. Okay. I'm getting old. All right. So you put parentheses and you can put a number there. Hit save. Okay. Now the easiest thing to do is to go up here and right click. And go to Open Command Folder in CMD, which is Command. Okay. And then, it's already got you the directory here. You can type dir and see that that's your file right there. All you do is type in the word Python, hit space, and then lesson1.py. And there it goes. Prints 5. Isn't that wonderful? Boring, right? Anyway. Okay, so let's just go ahead and minimize this. All right, so what else can we do? Well, we're going to talk about addition and subtraction, so let's go ahead and do some. How about print 12 plus 100? Okay, obviously the answer should be 112. Okay, hit save. And then you can either open up that window again, or just go here again. Okay. Now, this will open up a new window. So this is not the best way, because then you have to close a whole bunch of windows. Okay. So it's better to find where you minimized it and open it back up, but it's up to you. Okay. And now I am going, if we had the old window, let me show you. Let me go ahead and open up the old window. If we had this old window, we can use the up arrow key and just hit enter. Okay. But because we have the new window, we can't do that. So if we're going to create new windows each time, you're going to type in Python and then lesson1.py. Okay? So just remember that. So it's better if you use an existing window. So you just might want, I want to exit this one and we'll just keep one here. Okay, so I'm going to minimize it. Yeah, minimize it, then I can open it up next time. All right, subtraction. Print 100 minus 12. Okay, obviously that gives us 88. Let's hit save. Now I'm going to open up that window again. And I'm going to hit the up arrow button. And there's our 88. Okay, so nice and simple. That's how you do addition subtraction with numbers. Don't worry, this is just a baby steps. It gets much more fun later. Okay. All right. After addition subtraction, we're going to do multiplication. Now I didn't say multiplication division because division has some more extra fun stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at our multiplication. Of course, you've all seen this little star above the 8 key on your QWERTY keyboards. Well, that's your print, that's your multiplication. Okay. 12 times 8, which is 96. Okay. Just hit save. Show that window again. Up arrow key, hit enter, and we have our 96. Okay, so that's our multiplication. All right, so next we have division. Now, division, a little fun. So let me show you what I mean by fun there. There we go. And we are going to, first off, let's print 100 divided by 10. Now, what answer are you expecting? Okay. At first glance, well, probably everybody would expect 10. Well, that's not exactly what we're going to get back. Well, it is, but not what you're thinking of 10. Okay. Let me just show you what we're going to get here. We're going to get 10.0. Okay. Now, why is that? That's because Python, anytime it sees division, it's going to go into what we call real numbers. Okay. Now, since you're at least in 7th grade, you know what real numbers are. Okay. Real numbers include your integers, they include your fractions, and they include things like square root 2, etc. Okay. So, it's going to put everything into real numbers, which is your decimal points. Okay. And it will not display anything as an integer, even if it is an integer. For example, 100 divided by 10 is 10. Okay, we didn't need to say 10.0. Okay, but that's what you're going to have to deal with. Now later on, we'll be able to make it an integer if it's an integer. Okay, we'll save that for later. All right, but anyway, so we got 10.0. Now, of course, we're not always going to get an integer. Okay, case in point, 100 divided by, say, let's make it a little bit more interesting. How about 15? All right. Now, we're going to get 6.66667. Okay, that rounds it up. Okay. Now, let's say you wanted to know long division. what was the remainder when you divided 100 by 15? Okay. Now, we're going to do two things here. We're going to do this: 100 / 15, comma 100% 15. Now, the comma allows us to do more than one statement, okay? And it puts a space between the two statements. The / will give us the integer part, and the percent will give us the remainder, okay? So, before we do it, let's make sure we understand what this is going to be. First off, how many times does 15 go into 100? Okay. If you're not good at math, you might be, 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105. Nope. Okay, 6 times. So the first part here is going to be 6. Okay. And that is 90. So that's going to give us a remainder of 10, and that's going to be this part. Okay. So let's make sure we got that. And that's what we got. 6 space 10. Remember, the comma puts a space. All right. So again, the / will be the number of times that this number goes into this number. Okay. Evenly. Okay. And this will tell you what's left over, what we call the remainder. All right. Okay. So this is very important for you to know, especially if you have to do math problems. All right. But anyway, we'll show you some problems dealing with that later. Okay. I just wanted to show you that this is how you could find out the integer part. Okay. And the remainder. Now, for those of you who may be in college, what good is this? Well, let's say you have a liter of your famous alcohol and you have 100 milliliter cups or 80 milliliter cups that you want to give alcohol out to your friends. Okay. Well, how many friends can you give alcohol to? Well, this will tell you. And how much is left over for you to taste on your own? All right. So anyway, there's lots of nice little word problems that we can give. And that's one of the things you will notice. In all of my lessons, I will try to give as many word problems as possible. Why? Well, word problems are very important. Reminds me of the joke, a cartoon rather. Guy's in hell. He goes to the library. And first book he says, word problems. More word problems. More word problems. Every book is math word problems. I know students don't like it, okay? I taught math for many years. But they are common. And plus, if you ever become a programmer, they're not going to detail. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 2, do this. Okay? 3 rather. Etc. Okay? They're going to say, this is coming in. Did we need this? Blah, blah, blah. And, some of the times you're going to have to read the problem that they want solved, and you got to come up with a solution. They're not going to tell you what the solution is. So that's why in most of my PDFs that I have on my website, you're going to find lots of word problems, and you've got to read the word problem and then create the answer program by yourself. Okay? So I'm going to do that for all of them. You may not like it, but it is a great way to learn. And especially if you're not, native English speaker, this is really going to help you. If you can do all of my homework, then you're ready for the real world. Okay? So anyway, all right. So we're done with division. So next up is exponentiation. Now, what is that? Well, some of you might have forgotten, but exponentiation just means power. For example, 2 to the 3rd power. That is going to be 8. That's the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? So, how do we do that? Print 2 star star 3. The star star is your exponentiation. Now, in some programming languages, it's this little caret, okay? But for Python, they use the star star, okay? But anyway, let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do 2 to the 10th power, okay? That's a very famous number for us programmers, okay? And let's see what we get here. So this is going to do 2 problems here. Oops. All right. So this brings me to a very important point. Now, since more than likely you are a teenager, when your mom tells you to do something, there are basically three different things that could happen. 1, you could do it. Good boy or good girl. 2, you could say, no. No, don't do that. And 3, maybe you misheard her, or maybe you want to do something different that's close. Okay. So a computer is the same way. The computer will either give you exactly what you asked for, 2, give you what you asked for, but not what you wanted. In this case, I wanted 2 to the 10th power, but I asked for 2 times 10. So I got an error on my part. And 3, it could give you nothing or an error. Okay, for example, let's say I type in that. Okay, I'm going to get an error. Okay, because it doesn't know what that is. All right, so now let's go back to my problem that I had. Click save and do it again. There we go. 1024, okay, 1 kilobyte. All right, so this is the power, 2 to the 3rd, okay. All right. Now, question for you. I don't know if you ever studied this or not, but do you know, if you ever played the game Guess the Number? Well, have you ever played between 1 and 1,000? Well, if you play the game 1 to 1,000, you only need 10 guesses. No more than 10 guesses are needed. Don't believe me? Try it out. But make sure you do it correctly. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how to do it correctly right now. I want to know if you know how to do it. Give it a try. And see that you do guess the correct answer in 10 tries. If you don't guess it in 10 tries, you didn't do it correctly. Okay? There is no reason, none whatsoever, that it takes you more than 10 tries. You cannot think of a number that I can't guess, that you can't guess in 10 guesses if you do it correctly. Okay? So, give it a try. We'll actually write that program a little bit later. Okay? In fact, not too far in the future. One of the things I loved about being a programmer when I wanted to learn how to program something was I made a game, or I made something that was useful. For example, when I was taking Spanish class, I would write a program that would test me on my Spanish. Okay? So that is the way I learned. And it was a very neat tool for me, and it made things not boring. Okay? All right. So that is exponentiation. Now, as a teacher, many of my students would forget the order of operations. So, parentheses is a wonder here, okay? All right, so let's do another problem here. Print 2 plus 3 times 5 plus 2. Okay, now notice as I do this, Notice how this red parentheses and this red parentheses, that means this parentheses closed that one. This one still needs another parentheses. So there's our closed parentheses. Okay? Many students would make the mistake of saying 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, plus this 2 is 19. Or they would do 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 2 is 27. Or 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 2 is 7, and 5 times 7 is 35. All of those are wrong, okay? You do the 5 plus 2 first, which is going to give you a 7. You multiply it by the 3, 21, and then plus 2, which is 23, okay? And let's save it. And yes, Python knows how to do that correctly, okay? Python knows how to do the order of operations, okay? Of course, maybe you wanted the 2 plus 3 to add it together. Well, then you need to put parentheses, okay? So the parentheses are there to change the order of operations or to make things more clear, okay? All right, so now we're going to get 5 times 7, which is 35. Okay, all right. So parentheses, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then printing. Okay. All right. Now, what you need to do is practice a few of those. All right. So I did give you some homework trying to do some of that. Go ahead and try this on your own. Make sure you understand what's happening here and do some other printing statements, okay? Make sure that you can print numbers using addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, and also parentheses. And don't forget, be able to do the long division. Find out how many times it goes evenly and then find the remainder, okay? All right. Again, the best way to learn is to just start typing. And don't worry about mistakes, okay? You are not going in as a surgeon. Your patient is not going to die if you make a mistake, okay? Your computer is not going to die if you make a mistake, okay? Now, later on, we'll learn how to delete files. And then your computer may not like you if you do the wrong thing. So don't worry. I'll warn you before we get to there, making sure that you don't delete the wrong stuff, okay? But for right now, make all the mistakes you want, okay? And that's the best way to learn. Don't worry about your mistakes. Make a lot of them. Just learn from them, okay? If you have any questions, please post them on the YouTube page. But please don't post the answers. If you want to help people, say, hey, contact me. I'll help you for free or, for a few dollars. I don't care. It's up to you. All right. But just don't post the answers. I don't like that. Okay. I want the students to try on their own. So do not post the answers. And, oh yeah, I forgot to show you the last part here. We already did that. There's the website address. I'm going to give you a PDF with information about what we learned today, as well as your homework. Please do the homework. Okay? It's the best way to learn. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.